Good evening, and welcome to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I am both stalling on story progression as well as why I haven't touched the uncollected version of the event yet. And the reason for that, I'm going to dive into this. The reason for that is because my roster / my ability as a player is not there where I feel like I can do a completion of the uncollected and not have to use units / not waste energy, having to reattempt the path. And I do personally believe this event is something you should full clear just because you want to maximize the amount of coral you can get. And it's even worth using some of the units you get from the event on energy, as you can clear most of the event, probably like Heroic Master and Uncollected, with just really efficient use of your monthly energy. But I believe once you add the rifts as well as the normal difficulty, you will have to use some energy revives, energy refills. But that's okay because you are getting some of that energy back just in completion, and I think it's worth it for that gambled reward. Because if you think of like every 30 units you pump into as like the equivalent of translating into eventual 4-star shards or 5-star shards, I think it's worth, at least I do. But I also have, a significantly larger amount of time to play this game. So for a lot of people, going the other way around, uncollected down, is way more efficient. For anyone who can comfortably clear all of uncollected and doesn't have to worry about potentially failing, of course, you would start at uncollected and work your way down. Because then you can more accurately determine where the value is. But unfortunately, I'm not in that kind of a position, so I have to really think about how I'm going to min-max. And for me, min-maxing is starting at normal, doing a full exploration for the coral, and then moving my way up and seeing where I can bring my grid up just even before I clear Master. Now, Master, I'm pretty confident I can do with my roster right now. But it doesn't hurt for me to prep my roster as much as possible before going into Master, and then as much as possible before going to Uncollected, and then using units on energy to clear my way from there. And you could make the argument that by doing a full exploration of this whole event, that because I haven't touched story in like 6 days, that I'm missing out on that static content in the Firm of Stories. But the thing is that like when you do certain milestones in the story, you get these like rewards for like when I completed the collector, there was the uncollected deal, and I bought that. I can't say for sure whether or not it was a good deal because I don't even remember what it was. But honestly, I just really liked celebrating, so I bought that. And I know that when you clear Cavalier for the first time, you get like a 12,000 unit deal because I did watch Brian Grant review that, and that deal looks insane. I mean, you get a rank 4 to rank 5 5-star gem, which is just absolutely crazy because I know that you don't exactly get a lot of those materials in the game, and so you're going to want 12,000 units for that. So I don't really want to push any story content that would unlock a reward for me that I won't be able to buy, or I'll be consciously making the decision between that and the units I would need for the July 4th deal. Like I've already made a sacrifice by pumping up my roster with Suicide Masteries. That was a lot of units I spent there, but I'm really hoping that with some intense arena grinding over the course of this next month that I can make up for it, at least to the 5,000, the first two deals, or the 5,000 unit deals that I've seen in the past just by doing some research. But that said, it's definitely a struggle, but I think that my position is relatable for a lot of players, whether it be you pushing towards Uncollected or you pushing towards Cavalier. I think that it's probably not worth it at this point. We are a month away from July 4th, and you might just have to say, okay, whatever deals are available to me are the deals that are available to me. I can definitely sit for Cavalier with the deal being 12,000 units, that you don't want to push towards Cavalier until you are in a position where you can buy that 12,000 unit deal. And honestly, like, you could push your way all the way right up to it and then just save for the 12,000 units. Someone out there did that, and probably someone out there, whoever did the first clear, probably found out the hard way that they didn't have the units to buy it, and that probably really sucked. But don't be that person. We know that information is out there, and be patient. As for if you're not quite uncollected yet, I would make the argument that pushing for uncollected is probably worth it, just because the uncollected calendar is so much better from the regular calendar. Like, Cavalier is significantly better than uncollected, but at least for, like, if you're someone who's struggling to clear uncollected in the first place, the uncollected calendar, the uncollected crystal, like, those things are actually really good for someone who's at that pace. And so pushing towards Cavalier, while better in general, it doesn't really start hitting maximum value until you've advanced as a player. So yeah, I mean, I think Uncollected would be worth. Plus, I think the amount of units you would need to push towards Cavalier is probably higher than the amount of units you need to push towards Uncollected. And if I do remember correctly, I think the Uncollected deal is not as juicy as the Cavalier deal. But, feel free to source that or tell me in the comments if you're like, no, Jay, the Uncollected deal is absolutely worth it. In which case, again, it might just be worth holding on to those units for July 4th and buying whatever is available to you at the time, and then making your push later. I do think that 1 month before, when we know a big deal is coming out, is too late to make that push. Unless you're prioritizing that push in over the deal, which is a good argument. And maybe the argument I should be pushing is, if you're not Uncollected, it's better to spend those units on getting Uncollected than it is to take advantage of this July 4th deal. Like, this July 4th deal just might not be worth it for people who aren't Uncollected, in which case it might just be a matter of grab your Uncollected and then ignore this July 4th deal and just hold out for Cyber Monday. I'm not an expert on that situation, but I can definitely say I think that I will not be making any kinds of pushes. I am going to play it nice and safe. I'm going to full clear normal, then full clear heroic, and then finally full clear master before I even do a completion run of Uncollected. Like, I'm literally taking the smallest steps I can, because that is the safest way to make sure I maximize my units, and that I'm not spending units on revives for some reason. Because honestly, pushing towards Uncollected, those units are like super valuable. Like, when I did my Uncollected push, I did not regret the amount of units I spent on Uncollected. I thought that it was worth it. It was definitely something I don't regret. But now, when I'm clearing the event, like, if you mess up on a path, because I did initially start with Master, I messed up on the Invisible Woman path, and I got wrecked by her because I just, all the way up until that point, it was super easy, and I underestimated her, and I let her beat me because I just wasn't prepared. And that's when I was like, no, I need to step back, take this a little bit slower, and respect my status as a newer player, and respect that I need to, in order to clear this event to the maximum, I need to really maximize my grinding, maximize my roster, and just make the most out of the team I currently have. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull another 5-star before the end of the month, or if I do, it'll be pretty late at the end of the month, and I don't think I'll be able to rank them up to relevancy. So I do believe I'm working with the roster I have, which I do have a great roster, so I should be relatively okay. But this is me saying why I'm taking it slow, why I'm holding back on the harder content. And if you're in a similar boat to me, or you are struggling on units as well, I think maybe you're in the same boat I am and should play it slow if you have to. That said, well, I'll talk to you later.